Getting ready for the fourth industrial revolution, how to prepare young people for a new digital economy, and saving the world's bees, why there's a real buzz around light therapy. I'm Martin Stanford. This is Insight. Welcome to Insight. The fourth industrial revolution is coming, where technology transforms the way we live and work, the so-called Internet of Things. Global economies are already being disrupted. The challenge is to find a way to create a workforce with the right skills so they don't get left behind. For today's 16 to 18-year-olds in developed economies, there are choices to be made. I went along to a conference here in London to explore the options on offer. This event is trying to help today's youngsters appreciate the range of opportunities on offer and the skills they will need if they're going to be successful in tomorrow's digital-based economy. It used to be the case that you had to go to university to get involved in this. Nowadays, there's much more choice on offer.
So they can go to university if that's the learning style that they prefer, or they can get onto a modern apprenticeship scheme with numbers of companies that offer them in the UK and start learning on the job. And indeed, there's also a third option available, which is half and half, best of both worlds, getting onto a modern apprenticeship scheme and also studying part-time for that degree or qualification that you're after.
And where are the jobs going to be, Chet, in terms of what skills do people really need to acquire?
Skills that we need to acquire are ones around how they make technology work and how they can make technology relate to consumers, to governments, to SMEs and to large corporates. Marrying the two together and coming up with solutions that are relevant and add value for the end user will add value for the economy and for the individual themselves. So that's where we need to focus on, I think.
You gave an example of the comms that you provide for a Formula One team.
Yes.
Now tell me about that and the sort of skills required to make that team work.
Yeah. The skills required is basically understanding, being part of that Formula One team's philosophy, understanding exactly what it is they're trying to achieve. And Formula One teams are all trying to make the car go faster. So how can we use technology to give drivers more real-time information, technicians more data that they can help and use to make the driver and the car perform even better in race situations. That's what we try and do with the Formula One team. And actually, the types of people that we need will understand software, can understand how to put solutions together, and can make communications work in a secure and reliable way.
We talk about a digital economy expanding over the next decade or so. In what way? Where do you see the big growth areas in this?
I would say there's growth in all sectors. Many organizations, medium, large, and global organizations are thinking about how they adapt to the digital economy. They're thinking about how they can relate to me and you in a digital environment. The banks are thinking about it, or the retailers are thinking about it. More and more sales are made online, more and more banking transactions are made online, and that trend is going to continue at a pace over the next few years. But other organizations, such as Airbnb and Uber, have come out of absolutely nothing and are huge organizations. They don't own any assets, they just have a capability that is built on top of a digital platform and have managed to create a very sustainable and viable business out of that.
And for countries like the UK, if they get this right, do you see an opportunity for the bottom line? I mean, there is real national growth potential here.
Absolutely. One of the things I talk about is how much the digital economy is contributing to the UK's GDP. I still think there's more that it could be contributing today and going forward, and we desperately need to invest in things like AI, virtual reality, robotics, cloud. These are where the big digital trends are taking us, and we should make sure we make enough of an investment in those areas and the future trends that are coming along to make sure we're still at the crest of the wave of digital growth.
I think one of the realities for today's 18-year-olds is they're not going to do one job, are they, in their lives? They're probably going to do 5, 6, 7 jobs. Is it a matter of baking in that flexibility when they're young so that they might be able to change path?
Absolutely, I would say. I'm quite envious at the fact that they're going to have a portfolio career, work for 3 or 4 different organisations, doing different things and contributing in different ways, using their skill sets, maybe working for organisations that are totally based in a different part of the world, or have a total different philosophy to each other, but being able to make that contribution using technology remotely and still having a really fulfilling career. Very jealous and envious of that.
Because they might end up working for something we don't even know what it exists yet.
Or they might end up creating something using digital capabilities, start to create their own business. Why not? Why can't we have a focus like they do in Silicon Valley over here in the UK and in London?
I bet with your son you've got a technology user in your household. Is there a challenge turning users into engineers or creators or the next generation of coders?
Yeah. My wife says I shouldn't be too pushy, but I can't help sort of get across that technology. You know, I talk about the 4th Industrial Revolution, something that the World Economic Forum talks about. We're just about to be on the beginning of that journey. And technology is going to change the way that we work, we live, and how we relate to each other and to things. And it's an incredibly exciting area. And my job is just to make sure that people here today and my children all sort of understand that and they can make their own decisions and choices on life. The one thing I will say is technology and digital is not going to be something that anybody can ignore, regardless of which career they choose. But they have the option to focus on it as their main job as well.
And those choices start when you're at school. What to study after you're 16 years old, and what to do at university or college. Well, with me now is Rhys Thomas. He's from Escape Studios at Pearson College. Tell me the sort of skills that employers tell you they need today's 20-somethings to have.
So when we've been out to employers in the past, it's big things like business awareness, commercial acumen, right down to smaller things like how to structure an email properly. Things that people don't necessarily think of that they might not get taught in other business degrees or degrees in general.
So the basics need to be done well in
Absolutely.
any degree course.
Yeah.
Then when it comes to the particular skills of the electronics and the creativity, how do you address those?
Well, we have a number of lecturers who've obviously worked in the industry, as some of them are still actually working in the industry. So they're fully aware of the types of skills that the students might need. In addition to that, we've gone out to our industry partners, so people like the Mill, MPC, Framestore, and actually got them to tell us explicitly what are the skills that students are lacking when they come out of university.
What do they say? What are they lacking?
In general, it is things like I was saying, like things like business awareness, commercial acumen, things like that. And right down to skills with certain software. So the good thing about Escape Studios is that they quite often get the beta versions of software that hasn't actually been released on general release yet. So we're kind of future-proofing the students with skills that they will need when the actual software comes out.
But all this new software and technology is creating huge amounts of data. So what about a career in data management? It's a fast-growing industry, and data centres are something we will all need and use every day.
Every single country has got its own data centres. They're all trying to build their own data centre industries. Certainly with data sovereignty, a lot of people are liking to keep the data and the processing within their own shores. But the US, Middle East is growing fast. Europe is obviously massive. And then we've got Asia coming online. And China is building data centres very, very fast. They are the heart of the IT world. Without them, nothing works. Transport doesn't work, the internet doesn't work, businesses will fail. It is simply the fourth utility that no one's heard of. It's an incredibly fast-growing industry. You have certain pockets where they are growing faster than others. Slough, East London, Manchester in the UK, because they all need to be near the fibre network and connectivity and near their customers. A lot of banks use them, so therefore the banks need their trading floors to be very, very fast and accurate. But we're all using them. All businesses now are using what is called cloud, but it's not cloud. It's someone's physical building, and they're growing very, very fast.
It's not only the type of job available that's changing, but also the way people are recruited for jobs. Hayes should know they have 240 offices in 33 countries.
With the advent of high-speed broadband and mobile technology in the late sort of 2000s, it's began the digital revolution. So in terms of the skill sets that we're now recruiting for our customers, they're looking for people to help on digital transformation projects. So they're looking for skills like UX developers, UI developers, mobile developers, data scientists and cybersecurity specialists. So what we're recruiting for our customers has changed. Also the way we recruit has evolved. So when I first started recruitment 17 years ago, we would find candidates by looking at our database and putting the job out on the job board. But now we have to use all of the different social channels to engage with our candidates in order to find the right person for the right job. So that's, it's been a big evolution in what we do.
In this digital age, the old binary decision to go to university or not has been replaced with a plethora of options. Today's students have many routes to becoming the digital economy entrepreneurs of tomorrow. This is Insight. Coming up, seeing bees in a new light.